Hello, I'm Sarah Ann Shockley, and this is the Pain Companion, chapter by chapter. Chapter 25, Imaging Pain's Form. Art therapy is a time-honored approach to working with difficult emotions, and I used it to work with physical pain as well. I was able to do it only in a limited scope due to my condition. I had trouble holding anything with my hands. But the images, symbols, and metaphors that emerged were very revealing and helpful to me. The simple act of nonverbal expression can be particularly healing. A lot of these things we go through cannot be put into words very well. It helps ease the sense of feeling stuck, alone, misunderstood, or unable to describe or share the feelings that arise from living in pain. This kind of image making helps to bring forward what might be hidden, tends to help move stuck emotional energy, and can provide important insights. It can connect you with long-buried emotions or tell a story you didn't realize you were holding within yourself, connected to the pain you're experiencing. I recommend inexpensive watercolor or poster paints for this exercise because it's usually easier to move a brush rather than drawing with a pencil, but you can do either. And I feel that paint offers the most expressive potential in both the looseness of the medium and the use of color. But whatever works for you, if you have colored pencils, if you have markers, and you enjoy working with them, use those. So this exercise is called Imaging Pain's Form. Step 1. Calm your mind and body. With your art supplies at hand, just take several slow inhales and exhales. Doesn't have to be super deep, just get calm, get present, and consciously calm your mind and relax your body around the pain as much as you can. And I know this can be in itself a challenge to just relax, but just as much as you can. Step 2, tune into your history with this pain. Take a moment to tune into your history with this pain. Remember pain's beginning, however long ago it was, if it was 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, and how it led to what you are presently enduring. Imagine this is your pain story. Where's the beginning of it? Where is that? And then you've been living it this whole time. Notice that it has quieter times in the story and more tumultuous times, almost like peaks and valleys on a timeline. Feel into the whole form of your pain story in whatever way that makes sense to you. Just kind of imagine it. Could be from feeling through it. It could be from remembering dates for you, if that's the way you think. It could be seeing kind of a mountain and valley form of the ups and downs of it. Don't worry about being hugely specific. Just notice that it has kind of a shape to it almost, this pain story of yours. Step 3 is express from within your pain. Begin to paint with the intention of expressing from within your pain. Well, how can you not, right? But without putting thought into it, with allowing it to move through you, to move through if you're using a pencil or a brush, whatever you're using, move through your arms and hands. Have no preconceived notion of what the painting is going to look like. It doesn't have to look like anything specific. It can be totally abstract. That's not a problem. That's exactly what we're going for, is just expression. Don't worry about what the specific content is. It's not about being in an art show. It may express your whole pain story or how you feel about it right now. It could be splats of pain on the paper. It could be all dark and messy because that's how you feel about it. That's what it feels like to you. Could have some bright spots in there. An image may appear magically within what seem to be random lines and shapes. Just notice that if something kind of shows up, or after you've done it, you look at it and see, wow, that looks like a tree, that looks like an elephant, that looks like raindrops, whatever. Or the colors and lines may remain totally abstract with nothing recognizable in them, and that's just fine. Accept whatever comes up as an expression of the inner life of your pain. So if you're allowing pain to be the one that's painting almost, that's interesting, it's showing you something. I don't know what that would be. Only you would know what you're showing yourself that through the pain. So what is the story that wants to be told? What is the history that needs to be seen here and expressed. Accept whatever comes up, even if it's dark and messy, and especially if it's dark and messy. Just accept it. So here's some cues for how to begin if you're not quite sure how to begin this process or what I'm talking about. One might be to imagine you give pain the brush. Just imagine you're handing it over to pain. Of course it's in your hand, but imagine that pain has control of your hand. What kind of art does pain make? Step into the feelings and emotions you have about being in pain and let that direct your brush. How do you feel about living with pain? Imagine it's not super happy with lots of flowers and cupids and rainbows, right? So just let that out. Another idea is to paint how you see your pain. What does your pain look like to you? Paint that. Another is to paint how you think your pain sees you. Another, paint the story, as we said before, that your pain wants to tell. So you can paint your own pain story as you see it, and you can paint the pain story as pain would recount it. What does that mean? I don't know. Let it be totally intuitive. Don't go into your mind about it. This is something that kind of bypasses the intellectual mind. We're getting to a place of feelings and connection here that doesn't live in your intellectual mind. So just let it go, whatever that is. Just set the intention and then let happen what happens. You'd be surprised. And the last idea is to paint the truth about your pain. The total truth that you haven't shown anyone. Its depth, its meaning, your hatred of it, whatever it is for you, that you think you could never tell anyone. So put it down on paper. And you're going to think maybe that you've expressed your pain to people, you've expressed it to your doctor, you've told people how it is for you. But if you have permission by yourself, get yourself a pretty large piece of paper if you have one. Butcher paper is great, or whatever you can find, wrapping paper that you've got, like the brown kind of wrapping paper that comes around packages sometimes, whatever you can find. And give yourself some space and paint what needs to come out of you. What needs to express. Paint how you feel about living with pain, because you're going to find there's some depth there that you haven't felt you've had the space to express. You haven't felt like it's okay to express it. And sometimes when we're in pain, we don't want to express the emotional aspects of physical pain because it feels like too much. But as we begin to express it, it begins to relieve that. So, we kind of do ourselves a disfavor by holding all that emotion in. And yeah, I understand you may not want to express it to other people around you. You may feel like it's too big, or it's too dark, or it's too selfish, whatever. It isn't. It's what it is, and it's yours, and it's absolutely valid because you're living with pain. So let it out on the page. And then once you've done that, whatever method you choose to do, whatever intention you tend to, you want to have before you start, whatever you decided you're doing, if you're painting your story or pain's painting, whatever it is, then walk away from it for a little while and come back and just sit quietly and look at it and let it speak to you. In a sense, it'll be you witnessing yourself, you witnessing your pain witnessing you. It's hard to explain how profound this can be, but it's really amazing. And things start to move. You start to have deeper understandings of what you're going through. You start to have deeper compassion for yourself for what you're going through. And you start to maybe have glimmers of understanding of some ways that you might take in terms of a healing path that you hadn't seen before. So here's a summary. First, step one, calm your mind and body. So just get in the space of being by yourself. And do find a way, if you can, to be by yourself to do this. It doesn't have to take a long time, but it needs to be a little private so you can let out whatever wants to come out. Step two is to tune into your history with whatever pain you're working with. And you could be working with the emotions of pain, and you could be working with the physicality of pain, or both. And then decide how you're going to what your intention is, what your approach is, and then express from within your pain. Don't express from an intellectual outsider looking at it. So that's really important, and I might not have made that clear. You want to be, when I said to express from within your pain, to be in your pain, I mean be in your own experience of it. We have a tendency to step outside almost of our own pain and try to look at it from the outside, or try to analyze it from outside, or explain it to ourselves from our intellect, or from a way of kind of looking at it, you know, keeping a distance from it. This is where I'm asking you to not keep a distance from it. Go right in there with it and be with it and express from there. It'll be much richer for you, and it will give you a lot more in terms of information and also release and relief.